Hi, this is Jason Lee here, your naturopathic doctor. I'm just here to talk about a couple different things with our first ever video vlog for the clinic. I invite you guys to come and share with me for about 3 to 5 minutes once a month just to go over some useful health information and hopefully be worth your while. So thanks for sharing, or thanks for coming, and I appreciate it. Thank you. I guess the first thing we'll talk about is immune issues. That seems to be a huge thing that I'm seeing in practice a lot. I usually see it every year. I've been practicing for 12 years and I see the same trend over and over and over again. It usually starts around October and it goes all the way till springtime pretty much. And there's a couple of reasons why that is. I mean, usually October is my favorite time of year. It's Halloween. Lots of candy, lots of sugar. One of the most prominent immune suppressants out there is sugar. Like I said before, the average North American used to consume somewhere between 1 to 10 pounds of sugar a year back in the 1920s, and now it's up to 150 to 180 pounds of sugar a year. And a lot of that sugar comes in not just in candy or gummies or chocolate. It comes in many other things like juice. It comes in a lot of the condiments we use. It comes in some of our breads and our processed foods that we buy. It comes in many, many things, and it's hidden in lots of ingredients as well. For example, peanut butter is probably about 1/3 icing sugar, so it's quite a heavy sugar dose for people. The same with all these other spreads out there. So just be careful, read the labels. But the problem, it usually starts around October when Halloween comes. People say, oh, I'll just give my kid like, 1 candy a day or a couple candies a day. But that usually lasts about a month. So 3 of those little candies equates to almost a full chocolate bar, right? So they're getting almost a full chocolate bar every other day or every day, pretty much, and that will last about a month. By the time that happens, I just see tons of kids coming in with ear infections, throat infections, lung infections, viral issues, which can go on for long periods of time. You've heard of the 100-day cough. That's very, very common, where they're not in pain, they're just coughing for a good 100 days. Or they'll get bacterial infections and whatnot, sinus issues, things like that. These can trigger asthma reactions in kids. It can also flare up eczema in kids. It can flare up many, many things. So that's where I usually see it start. And of course, after Halloween, it moves right into early November, which is, of course, the holiday season. And people come over, they want to share, their treats and things like that. And, having a treat once in a while is not that big of a deal. Once or twice a week, I don't really care about that. The problem is with these holiday seasons, or when they get candy as gifts, or chocolate, or cookies as gifts, people just start having them every day for long periods of time. So you'll start to have Christmas things sometime towards the end of November, and then you're basically eating them all through December, and then come the end of December, right, people are just pooched, and they're busy, and they're partying, and they're doing all these things, and then come January, everybody's sick. Like, kids are getting sick at school, they're giving it to their friends are giving it back to the parents. It's all over the place. And then you see outbreaks with lots of things. People always say, oh, there's an outbreak of this, there's an outbreak of that. And they try and blame it on other factors, like, oh, maybe you weren't this, or you didn't get vaccinated, or whatnot. We're not here to really talk about that. But either way, one thing that doesn't help immune function is chronic immune suppression. And we do live in an immune suppressed society. People just don't eat properly these days. The food quality is not the way it used to be. And the sugar intake is massive. And that's one of the biggest things that I see that really affects people the most, is the processing of food and the sugars. So it's true that, sometimes you can't avoid going out and eating the right kinds of things when you're out, but that's okay. If you're going to make a decision, try and take the things that have the least amount of sugar possible. Come January, it's also a cold time of year. The up and down with the temperatures also makes people sick. They'll go outside, it'll be like -20. They'll come inside, the heat will be cranked, and it's a different kind of heat. It's a very dry heat. That heat also affects the immune system. That up and down temperature change affects adrenal function. The adrenal gland affects how our immune system works. The adrenal gland is basically the general of our immune army. So if the general can't control the troops, we have problems, and the army suffers. The army fights infection. So a lot of people get tanked around that time of the year. And that pretty much goes through January, February, and then towards the end of March, things seem to get better. There are a couple of things that I recommend for immune function around this time of year. Definitely vitamin C is a cheap, easy immune stimulant that can be taken at many doses for many different kinds of people. Ensure you get some vitamin D into the body. Even though it's sunny sometimes when it's snowy outside, most people go out, it's so cold, they bundle up. We get very little vitamin D. Vitamin D, they call it the sun vitamin, but it's also a huge immune support as well. So that's why a lot of people like going down south. They need that vitamin D. Other things are, of course, avoiding things that aggravate the immune system. The biggest ones being processed foods, deep fried foods, candy, pop, sugary type compounds, things like that. Just watch for labels. Make sure you read the labels. A lot of the labels when they're written, it always goes most to least. So if you see sugar in the top 5 ingredients, you know it's a big part of that food. So just be careful for that. Also, cleanliness, washing your hands, soap and water, stuff like that. That also helps out as well. But the best way to boost immune function is always take care of yourself, eat properly, get plenty of rest, and just be cognizant of what's going around. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that, and thanks for listening. Oh, by the way, please check out some of the links at the bottom of this email to find out more information about what's going on with the practitioners here at the clinic and any other events you might be running. So once again, thanks a lot and take care.